Well, Jerry Beurling, it's a great honor and pleasure to meet you, sir. We're here on the occasion of a big air show in connection with the Canadian Warplane heritage at Hamilton Airport, correct?
That's correct.
And you're leaning against an aircraft that bears a big part of your life, the immortal Spitfire itself, right?
That's correct. That's right. I've been flying them since the first of 42 and right up to today.
Well, viewers won't know that we met actually 2 hours ago today when I was lost getting into this airport. Imagine getting lost, getting into the Hamilton Airport. And I said, this man who helped me, you got in the car and helped guide me, is every bit as effective on the ground as in the air. Now there, you see?
Yes.
Now, Jerry, beside you is Dave Beurling. And Dave, it's an honor to meet you.
Thank you.
And while Jerry flew the Spit, and we want to talk about that, your brother is none other than the famous Buzz Beurling.
That's right.
He was in the Battle of Britain, wasn't he?
Yes, most of his time, though, was in Malta.
In Malta. Yeah. And how many enemy aircraft in World War II did Buzz Beurling shoot? I know he was I guess he's our ace, Canada's ace, I suppose, of
That's
World
what
War
they
II.
say. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How many planes?
32.
32 enemy aircraft. Over what period, Dave?
Most of that was in Malta. Actually, he was flying off a field right adjacent to Jerry.
Well, Jerry, you knew him then.
Yes, I knew Jerry.
You knew.
Yes,
now, Jerry, I want to go back with the Spitfire. Tell me how you got involved with the Spitfire for the first time in your life.
Which Spitfire is this one?
Well, any
one
Spitfire.
Here? Oh, well,
this craft that we're talking, this kind of plane, yeah.
My family was on welfare before the war, and I tried to get in. I couldn't get in Canadian, no education, so I got in as a gunner, quickly transferred to a pilot, went overseas in 41, and flew Hurricanes briefly, and then begged to get on the Spitfires. And I got on a 19 Squadron, Czech Poles, a mixed squadron.
What year is this now?
1942.
Right. You were in Malta then?
No, that was in 19 in Britain. And
right
then I heard of Malta, so I volunteered for Malta, went off the carrier to Malta in 42.
Right, 42.
Yeah. Stayed there for 7 months and a half and knocked on a couple of times. And then came back to Britain and instructed for a while, then went back on Canadian Squadron at that point.
When you say you tossed it off rather quickly there, you were knocked down a couple of times. Describe, so our viewers will understand what you mean by that.
Well, I was shot down twice in their battle in
And what
Malta
happened?
there.
I mean...
well, I was going straight down, and I bailed out of the thing over the water. I can't swim. I got in a dinghy, and that's another story.
You got a dinghy?
Yeah, that's a floating thing that you sit on.
Yeah.
But I came down the parachute with a Mae West and floated and then brought the dinghy in and floated around until the Walrus, flying boat, picked me up. Yeah.
When you're out there, what kind of aircraft would you be shooting down in the war?
Well, ITIs, 109s and 52s and the ITIs, 202s and Reggianis.
A part of Göring's Luftwaffe, right?
Yeah, well, that's right. That's correct. That's right.
Jerry, is it as tense in the air when you're out there in a kill as one humanly imagines, or do you even think of it being tense? Are you so preoccupied?
Well, you're all triggered up, I suppose, before, but as soon as the balloon goes up and you got your wheels up, then you're no problem. To me, it was a lot of fun, and I was disappointed when the war quit. Really, what the hell am I going to do now?
Yeah.
I came back to want to stay in Canada. They said, you can't stay in the Canadian Air Force because you were a fighter pilot, if you can imagine.
Oh, my.
So, and that was that.
You can't stay in the Canadian Air Force because you're a fighter?
Yeah, I still have the letter saying you don't qualify because you were a fighter pilot.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, very disturbing.
I don't understand. Something else I heard about, and I want to check this with you, on the occasion of the opening of our National Aviation Museum in Ottawa.
Yeah.
I'm told that you were there with the Spit.
Yes, I was there. And
they wouldn't let it appear in the opening?
That's correct. They didn't want it. I was told that the wheels don't particularly like aircraft, and so I was just allowed to fly.
Who, the wheels, the people in charge?
The one who was authorized or said this is what's going to fly. Yeah.
They don't particularly like aircraft. The hair is rising in my head as I hear this.
Yeah, me too. And I'm sitting there with a Spit, right?
Yes.
And then I went over in a light aircraft museum. I walked in, and here's this big Canadian Parade d'Astra, Canadian Air Force sign.
Yes.
There's a picture of Johnny Johnson there.
But Johnny wasn't in the Canadian...
Well, I said, what the hell is that doing there? And they said, well, and I said, where's Beurling? He's number one.
Beurling,
Canada.
yes.
This is a Canadian museum. So I said, where's Bishop's picture?
Yes.
It should be in the forefront. Yeah. So actually, I departed. I
don't blame you departing.
Yeah.
Boy, I hope every Canadian is as on fire as I am here in this news.
This is
our own National Museum in Ottawa, and they didn't want this part of it.
Cliff Chatterton War Amps is a good man there. I fly past by the Parliament buildings, and trying to shoot down this Bishop's story. and that was on national TV for a bit there. But
now, Jerry, the actual craft, we know it's a Spitfire. That's what
yeah.
we've been talking about.
Yeah.
But this one is owned by a famous actor, correct?
Yes, Cliff Robertson. It was built in '44. It saw action in D-Day. It shot aircraft down.
Oh, it did?
It did, oh yes, this aircraft. And nothing has changed. We got a nice paint job on it for the public, of course, for pictures and that. And I do a show exactly the same as used to fly during the war.
And tell me about the show that you do. You just did this. Was it Wings for Hope?
Yeah, up in St. Hubert.
Up in St. Hubert.
Yeah. But I do the low-level aerobatics, you know, the 150 feet inverted and straight up and all that kind of nonsense, yeah.
What was that again, 150, what, straight up?
Well, 150 feet inverted.
We got a lot of competition for our chat, but we shall fight over the...
That's right, the same old thing. There's always somebody shooting, eh?
That's right. I don't want anybody to shoot at me while I'm out here. Give us a little detail of what you do.
Well, I take off, and the Hurricane is there also. He does sort of teardrop turns by fly pass, and I do aerobatics in between. I come across about 280 and do a vertical half roll and come back down with a rhubarb roll towards the crowd, or away from the crowd, I should say, not towards the crowd. And the 4-point rolls, inverted stuff, and slow fly past for people to get a picture of it.
I love listening to you.
Yeah.
You make it sound like a piece of cake.
Well, it is a piece of cake. Actually, it's living history. The aircraft was in the war. I was in the war. It's living history, and people are missing this. And I keep saying this.
Well, that's a shame.
They're missing it.
What is wrong with Canada to downplay the great triumphs of its own? There's just something
what
wrong
about Owen
with our...
Sound's VC burials up there? There's 3 VCs in the same cemetery, and you have to pull grass to find their headstones.
Where is that again?
Owen Sound, Billy Bishop's place.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
One of the greatest, one of the greatest pilots in history. Yeah.
They're all buried in Arlington Cemetery, and the heroes in the States, but Canada has a negative attitude. They don't like. Some of the heroes are dirty words, you know.
Why would that be? Do you have any theory about that? Because I think that's absolutely rotten.
Professional jealousy.
Really?
Professional jealousy. That's all it is.
There's something wrong in our psyche, too. I don't know what it is, but you're going to motivate me into doing a lot of digging into this whole field. Yeah. Now, Dave Beurling, I didn't want to slight you because I wanted to chat to you, too, but when I get caught up with Jerry here, you know, obviously I've discovered what happens. But what happened to your brother finally? What is the story of Buzz?
Well,
basically, I should be up on my history here, and I can be held to it.
Well, when he came back, he tried to get himself involved in a number of things, such as they had aircraft for bush pilot work up north, but couldn't get the licensing. And
any reason for his...
Well, some people think the same thing as Jerry, that those who were in a position to control that weren't about to let him have it. And subsequently, he got involved in the Israeli Air Force, and he was killed in a crash taking off out of Rome.
When was this, Dave?
1948.
Oh, it was within immediate post-war time then. Because I didn't know, and I don't feel as guilty now not knowing what happened to him, because that's quite a story. I thought perhaps he had gone down in the war, and I didn't know that, and I felt ashamed not knowing that. But tell me, was there a killer instinct in your brother? What sort of a man are we talking about?
No, I don't think so. We never saw that. As he was very quiet and subdued as an individual, and I think a lot of the time some of the things that he experienced really bothered him.
I see. Thank you very much, Dave and Jerry.